Hey guys, welcome to Celebrating Women series of Tulu Kannika. With over 20 years of experience in the industry, our today's guest, Ms.Viji Hari, is the founder of an organization called CecureUs. She is an expert in creating diverse, inclusive, and safe workplaces. I take great pride in welcoming today's guest, Ms. Viji, for In Conversation with Tulu Kannika. Hi Viji, how are you doing?
I'm very good, Shweta. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your Tulu Kannika show.
Thank you so much for joining us for our Celebrating Women series. It's a pleasure to have you. So, Viji, today we are here to discuss on few important things that every lady must be aware of. On March 8th, we celebrated International Women's Day. We feel that it's very important that every woman knows how they can walk into a workplace with dignity without having any fear, and how organizations must ensure safety and security of their women employees. For the same discussion, we have you here. You are our subject matter expert. Before we begin the discussion on these questions, I would request you to give us a small introduction of yourself and the organization that you have founded, SecureUs.
Thank you, Shweta. So I'm Viji Hari, and I specialize in preventing sexual harassment and in creating diverse and inclusive organizations. I've been working in the space for the last 9 years, and before that, I was with Infosys for close to 13 years. And now I passionately work on this topic. I have consulted with more than 100 plus organizations across India, US, UK. So I've also authored a book on this topic of preventing sexual harassment called BCC, Behind Closed Cubicles. This is a collection of short stories on prevention of sexual harassment stories from across India, across different sectors. These are all real life stories with tips and tricks for employees, managers, and HR on what they can do to create a safer workplace. That's about me, and I run this organization called Secure Us. We are a passionate team, and our mission is to create safe and secure workplaces.
Great. Firstly, understanding the basics. So, why this act, sexual harassment of women at workplace, prevention prohibition, this act, why did it come into existence in 2013?
The onset of the act goes way back in the 1990s from the story of the brave Bhavari Devi in Rajasthan. She was a social worker who was subjected to rape by the zamindars of the village for having performed her duties as an NGO worker in preventing child marriages. She took this to the court of Rajasthan. She did not get justice, and was a Vishaka NGO which took her case up and fought for her and took the case to Supreme Court. And there she got justice. In 1997 is when the Vishaka guidelines had come up. The Supreme Court had requested Vishaka, the NGO, to form this guideline which will protect all the working women across the country, that they should not be subjected to any form of sexual harassment, and women should not suffer in their career because of sexual harassment. And thanks to Vishaka and to Bhavari Devi, the guideline came in 1997, and the guideline mandated that there should be a committee that should be there, and every organization should be following the guideline of preventing sexual harassment. But it was only a guideline, it was not a mandatory act. There was no penalty for not following it. So only large organizations were compliant to that. A lot of cases put up, and the bills were being passed. Eventually, the Nirbhaya incident that happened in 2012 and the kind of push that we got after that, the bill getting passed and the law came in, the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. This came about in December, and very clearly it mandates that every organization, with the onus of the employer to ensure that all women at the workplace are safe. And every organization should be having a committee to protect the women employees as well. So that is how the act came in 2013, and we still have a long way to go, wherein to ensure that we are 100% compliant across all sectors and all organizations in India.
So, Viji, what are the few things that organization must abide by to ensure employee safety?
By law, there are 4 to 5 key points that every organization should be complying. One is basic thing is to have a policy which will take care of prevention. Okay, because the law very clearly says prevention, prohibition, and redressal. As part of prevention, you need to have a policy that is shared with all the employees, and the policy should list whatever is mentioned as per the act. It should be listing certain things, and a poster should be displayed stating that sexual harassment is prohibited as part of the prohibition clause. So there is zero tolerance for sexual harassment, and these posters should be displayed at conspicuous places in the lobbies, in the cafeteria, food courts. That is again the prohibition aspect. And in terms of the redressal aspect, the committee should be formed. An internal committee or a POSH prevention of sexual harassment committee should be formed in every organization, and that committee is responsible to ensure that if at all there is a complaint or a case that gets filed, they need to ensure a timely and a fair manner of closure of the case and investigation and closure of the case. So that is as per the redressal part. So we go with policy for prevention, poster for prohibition, and the committee which is there for redressal. Apart from this, creating awareness to all employees and for the internal committee and empowering the committee. So that is again as part of prevention, again creating awareness. You have to do. All organizations are mandatory to do that. And last but not the least, filing of annual report has to be done to the authorities on an annual basis. 2 or 3 aspects which the Act again talks about, and filing has to be done in those 3 different formats. And there are state regulations. Each and every state has different regulations that again has to be followed. So this is as per the spirit of the law in terms of compliance and complying to the act. So that way you are, whenever there's an audit, you are completely compliant. But in actual essence, it's important for the management to set the right culture in an organization, a respectful culture, and have a zero tolerance policy. And that culture should definitely flow top down and not just for compliance, but in the true spirit of creating a safe workplace. That's something that's very, very important for all organizations.
Very true. Today, because of the pandemic, we are all working virtually, most of the organizations. Although we are in a virtual mode, virtual harassment is still a possibility. Let's say somebody is going through it. What must they do?
So definitely, we've been having a lot of cases that have been coming up during this lockdown while working from home as well. We've been receiving complaints, and the kind of complaints are a bit different now. Complaints like a lot of things are stalking, where people are going and trying to meet people in their homes or waiting outside their apartments, or cases of texting, sexting, or remarks on video conference calls, inappropriate remarks and comments. So those are some of the cases. And one is, since it's all happening over technology, proofs gathering and all has become easier. But we have been continuing to investigate remotely over video conference calls. There are some challenges in doing that, but nevertheless, even courts are functioning. They also are doing hearing remotely over video conference calls. So definitely all organizations, they have to sensitize employees that even home becomes a workplace, because the name of the law very clearly states sexual harassment of women at workplace. So since you are being officially working from home, your home is also a workplace, so you need to be protected, and all employees are expected to have a safe environment to work.
Right,
So organizations should sensitize employees on that.
right. This year's theme for International Women's Day was Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future in COVID-19 World. But we all know that achieving equality has been a challenge, has been an ongoing fight, be it a woman in leadership or not. be it COVID-19 world or not. What is your thought on achieving equality?
So I think the World Economic Forum has stated that it's going to take another 200 years for pay parity to be equal for women and men. And this is not just in our country, but this is across something across the globe that everyone is facing a challenge for women, especially. You know, so not just about pay, but also in terms of job opportunities. And definitely, it's been proven that women are doing the double shift in terms of doing the unpaid labor at home as well as contributing at workplace as well. So it's something that these facts are something proven, and it is going to take a long time. And I think as a society, as women, we need to take the initiative in terms of not just going ahead and working and demanding, but also in setting the right future and training our family members. Sensitizing our families should start from the home and maybe helping in creating the next generation in the right way. I think we should train our sons who are going to be the future to ensure, because I think if 200 years is going to be such a long time to wait to get, it's going to take another 4, 5 generations to see that. I think we should start right now to train our next generation to be more sensitive and considerate and to share the load. And that's something that's very, very important. And I think as a country, also, I think there is a lot of things that we have to gear up to do. Taiwan is something that been setting a great example. They started the initiative of equality, and there is a government initiative where they started creating a separate department ministry to focus on this. And in 20 years, you've seen a huge change, and the numbers have increased. And their overall GDP, the way when women have started coming into the workforce, the kind of change in the economy and the growth in the GDP. I think that is something that Taiwan has proved, and that is something that all countries have a lot of lesson to learn from. And it's not just an individual who can go about changing, but it calls for a society, a nation, a government, group effort. So each and everyone have to contribute in taking this forward in terms of creating an equal world to all.
Yes. We have been saying, let's hope it changes, let's hope it'll be better. But I think it's time for us to now stop telling let's hope and start working towards it collectively as a society. Now, coming to the last question of the day. So, let's say you had a supreme power in the world, and if you could take any three decisions to create a safe world for men, women, everyone, irrespective of gender, right? What would they be?
Supreme power and okay, creating a safe one. I think all that I wish is all humans are equal. I think that is something that change that if I can make that, it should go into everyone's mind that all women, men, without any gender discrimination or without any discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, color. So I think that is the world that I dream of. And if with that supreme power, if I can somewhere throw some more on my magic wand and ensure that there is equality in terms of all. And I think the moment that discrimination is lost, I think then that is going to be a much safer world and a much more harmonious world for all. And that is something that I dream of and wish for. Uh, yeah.
True, true. It was really nice to have you here, Viji. And I must say, the whole discussion, I'm sure for everyone who is watching, although they are part of organization, although there are policies, many a times, people are not very keen or they do not give that attention that is required to understand every policy because they may see a whole bunch of paper or a whole bunch of policies on their screen and it might be too boring to go through all of it. But today's discussion, let's say 15 minutes or 10 minutes that we've had, it was very insightful. And if somebody listens to it, they will understand the gist. So thank you so much for being here and giving this insightful discussion for all of us. I wish you and your Securus team all the very best and do greater good. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on this show. Wishing you great success in whatever endeavors that you're pursuing, and all these short, lovely videos that you've been passionately creating, and also wishing all the audience a safe, secure, and a harmonious workplace and life ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Viji.